I got to say, with Jay Lethal and Jay Briscoe, they were two of my favorite guys in Ring of Honor, and I think that uh, uh, Delirious did a fantastic job of keeping both those guys apart, undefeated, then putting them together just in time to for enough time to have conflict, and then keeping them apart. I think he did a fantastic job the way things turned out with Jay Briscoe being undefeated and retiring with the title at one time, and then coming back and never being beaten for the belt, and the whole story that the folks who follow Ring of Honor weekly know much better than I do. But I think that overall he did a great job with both those guys. I was very high on Jay Lethal in TNA when I was down there. He was one of the few bright spots, not only in the ring but also to work with backstage. He's always been a pleasure, and he grew up and he became his own man and a star that I knew he had it to be in him when he got to Ring of Honor. He was the one. I'll be honest right now, and I don't care who gives a shit and gets pissed about it. I wanted that final battle match in 2012 to be Jay Lethal and Kevin Steen for the title, not necessarily to put it on Jay then, but that's why we did the angle in Raw way, because El Generico was not only not signed to Ring of Honor, but not even returning Delirious's calls about possibly being booked to make shots. And then Steen came up, and he came up with that, he'd come back to work with Steen, because they were bosom buddies. Let us have our crowning moment of triumph at Final Battle 2012 and the main event. And my attitude was, why are we going to take our world champion, Kevin Steen, and have him be pressed to the limit against a guy that doesn't work here, that won't return the Booker's calls, that's been putting us off. We tried to sign him the year before, re-sign him when he actually, the first time we signed him, when Sinclair bought the company, not to digress, but already have, we offered him a contract for a year, and what I thought was top money. It was very much what everybody else, the company on the top level, was making. And he put up such a squall that we made it for 6 months. So then we didn't push him with the TV title because we didn't get on TV for 3 months. That meant our TV champion was signed for 3 more months. So he lost it to Jay Lethal, who was signed, had a long-term commitment, and was doing business the right way, and that we wanted to make a star from day one. Then Steen wants Generico to come back in for them to close out their dynamic program. I thought we should use a guy that we know is with us for the long term, that has great star potential, that is able to go out and do these different appearances and publicity deals for the local stations instead of a mute masked guy that is not signed and we has no plans to work with us going forward, and etc. And of course, then I acquiesced because it was a draw for the only audience that Ring of Honor had at the time, which was the old Ring of Honor audience. They would rather see the guy with the mask and the other guy for the umpteenth time than let us build a new star. But that's who I wanted to be in the main event at Final Battle 2012, was Jay Lethal challenging for the world title. He's turned out to be much more valuable on the Ring of Honor cards than El Generico ever was. He's a pleasure to work with. He does, like I said, tremendous publicity appearances. He's gracious with sponsors. He's well-spoken. He dresses nice. He's always on time. He has no bad habits. He doesn't whine and gripe and complain. He's a performer that can tear the house down with anybody in any way, shape, or form. And that's the kind of people that I looked for to push and reward for their loyalty and their hard work. And Jay Briscoe's the same kind of guy. It's basically night and day between Jay Briscoe and Jay Lethal and some of the other supposed stars on the independent scene.